to make sure happens is that you love something.
Build leads and build relationship.
We start all a business from nothing, and we build them up.
Okay, today's question comes from Yaya Bakar, and it's directed to you, Dave. And he's asking, Dave, what are some rookie mistakes I could avoid while starting an online business?
All right, first one, it's like any sports team. If you're not passing the ball or passing the puck, you're not going to win. So really, try not to do everything yourself. That's a big thing that we see with beginner entrepreneurs, is that they want to do everything. They want to have their eyes everything. They want to decide on everything, and what they realize after a while, they're capped. And there's only so much you can do in one day or 24 hours or a week or a month with the time you got in your hands. You have to delegate fast. We in previous videos we talked about good ways to delegate and where to start to delegate, but don't do everything yourself. Second one, really a big mistake, is to wait for perfection. We see that very often as well, where there's kind of analysis paralysis and focusing on little things that have very minor impact on the end result, but they kind of get stuck on that side. Action before perfection, as Matt always says. It is true. Sometimes it's just a matter of getting stuff out there and perfecting later on. As long as it's maybe sometimes good enough, is what it takes to launch. I'm not saying that the quality of your product should be bad or shitty. It should be a good product, but don't wait until everything is fully manicured in order to get it out. Sometimes doing that can be very costly, take some time, or maybe it can result into the project or the business not launching at all. We see that too many times. So you got to make a decision where you say, hey, this is good. I can launch that, and this is why there's split testing and optimization tools now in order to make your product or service sell better, convert better. So that's one big thing. Another thing is really don't wait for your product to sell itself. We see that all the time, where you spend a lot of time focusing on the product and you love that product so much. You're like, oh, it's the best product ever. You put it out there, what happens? No sales, nada, crickets, right? Nothing happens. It is because more than often you've spent too much time thinking about the product itself, but never gave a thought about how I'm going to sell the damn thing. The big thing that we tend to do is actually to reverse engineer that, where we focus on the marketing, focus on the market, figuring out how that can be sold before actually creating the product or completing the product. Because sometimes you're going to create the product but realize, oh shoot, I didn't do this, or this doesn't have that feature that would sell super well, and you have to redo the whole damn thing all over again. So think about how you're going to sell the product and make sure that everything in the product is integrated in order to sell it. It happens more often than you would think. It's stupid, but just putting it on the internet won't sell it. Not just having a website online, people will magically find you on Google. Yeah, maybe in 1992, in 2015, not so much. You have to do your homework and understand how you're going to get some traffic and make some sales. Another thing as well, and that's a little bit more advanced, and they don't focus on what I call the 3 factors of success, right? Number one is, focus on your core skills. Focus on what you're really good at. Focus on where you provide the most value, either through your services or through your product, right? Don't go into something that you're not really passionate about or you don't really believe in, or just for the money, like you would do for an MLM, like without trusting the product or without using the product, and you're just there for money. It's not gonna be sustainable. Number two is the circle of influence. When you get started with a business, you gotta surround yourself with people that are smarter and more advanced than you. And I've never heard of a single businessman who has just did it totally alone, without any help and without looking at what other more successful people were doing. I know for me and for Matt, it was one of the keys to success, really, in our businesses. We're giving back right now with our mentorship program. We have students every year that we help and that we guide to create a great business. And this is a big shortcut. I mean, they could have spent years, knocking their heads on the wall trying to figure out stuff that with experience we know now, and that's really is a shortcut. And that's, in my opinion, not doing that is a mistake that a lot of rookies make. And another rookie mistake is to stop learning, not sharpening your tools. You have to be always learning, always update your knowledge. For example, marketing is evolving all the time. Marketing today versus marketing a year ago is not the same. We're not using the same techniques. What worked on Facebook, for example, a year ago is not working today. You have to upgrade your skills when it comes to that. Sometimes your product was maybe selling, let's say 5 years ago, and all of a sudden it stopped selling. Well, why? Because maybe you were using channels that are totally not working now. So you have to upgrade your skills, sharpen your tools, and really cultivate the growth mindset.
A couple quick things. The two biggest mistakes that people make when they launch a product is, number one, not understanding the audience and what they really want. There's what you want, and there's what you think people want, and then there's what people really want. And it's really easy to get lost in your own perception of reality and start thinking that you are the market. You might be the market, but a lot of times the market wants things that you may or may not be aware of. And it's really easy to have tunnel vision. So if you don't get that part right, nothing else matters. Like if you create a product that nobody cares about, you're solving a problem that nobody really has, then nobody's going to buy. No matter how good your marketing is, no matter how slick your funnel is, none of that stuff's going to matter. So understanding the audience, who are they, and what do they really, 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 really want, as they say in Zoolander, is the number one thing.
It's really like it's not about you, it's about them. And this is always what you have to think is, am I providing the proper value to my audience? Am I providing real value? Is this what they really, really, really want? And as I said, Matt said it, sometimes we're so deeply focused on the product and in our little world that we forget to see, what's happening around. And we just lose focus on what the market wants. So always ask yourself, am I providing good value? Is it what they really want? And yeah, it's about them. It is about them. It's not about you. It's always about your customer you're serving.
The second biggest mistake is not spending enough time on the marketing, right? Most people spend 90% of their time creating the product and then 10% creating the marketing. It's almost should be the inverse. If you're the one who's the star of the product and you're writing the content or you're on video, then obviously you need to spend time and do that. But a good product is a given. That's like that we're assuming you have a good product. But ultimately, solving a problem that your audience has and then creating compelling, persuasive marketing that highlights your product in the perfect way to that audience is what's going to really influence or multiply your results on the launch. If you don't nail your marketing, then you're only going to get a fraction of the results you would have otherwise.
Yeah, just don't be that guy who's like, oh, marketing. Listen, marketing is the business. I was listening to a podcast with Brendan Burchard the other day, and this is what he was saying. A lot of people have like a negative image of marketing for some reason, but they don't realize that, hey, marketing is the business. It is the engine of your business. If you don't have that, how are you going to expect to sell products? You need marketing. And if in your head marketing is an evil thing, you just don't get it. Marketing is the business. This is what's going to sell your product. And Matt said it well as well. You have to come up with a good quality product now. You can't mask, a bad quality with marketing. Like, marketing is going to be a vehicle to help you sell it, not going to help you mask the crappy quality of your product. In this day and age where everything is shared, everything is fully available online, you're going to have tons of reviews, social media. I mean, don't expect to have longevity with something shitty. That's what I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to part ways with.